Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Partickhill Station. I'm Charlie. So, I had a frustrating day yesterday trying to do this, but I got all the issues solved, and I got a couple of very special trains running here. So, hi Mark, how are you? Yeah, I'm well. I'm not sure if you're on here yet, but welcome everybody wherever you are. If you're in the UK, I hope you're taking some respite from the heat, and I think what you have to know about being here in Toronto, what you're experiencing at this point in time in terms of the great weather is what we get sort of June, July and August. It's sort of typical, anywhere from 25 to 30 degrees. Hello Digger, how are you? Good of you to drop by. How are things going? What are you modelling these days? And what's going on? I'm just going to try and change something up here for a second. Yeah, so here I am, in need of another haircut, as you can see. Space is a bit tight in here. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, Digger. Who else is here? Yeah, I know Mark is out there. So just to reiterate what happened, I was trying to do a live show yesterday, and it just didn't work out. A number of issues, so I canned it, and last night I spent some time trying to resolve all the issues that I'd experienced, and I think I've got it working now. I hope you can hear me. I'm never really sure with all this when you can't hear me. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do this again. Anyway, good morning, good evening, welcome all of you out there on YouTube. And Digger, how are you? I hope you can hear me this time. Yesterday I think I spoke for an hour and nothing happened. My throat was dry from talking for that length of time, and the only person that was on was Mark, and then he had to go. But that was the issue. It wasn't broadcasting properly, and I had some trouble with some of the locals that I had been running, but I've got it solved. It sounds fine, that's great. It's always a challenge. If it's not the trains themselves, it's the lighting or the audio or the video or bad points. And I had been working, I'm going to just jump back because it's not about me, it's about the trains. I can always come back to you in a second. Yeah, there we go. So, as I said, I've got a couple of special trains running around here. The Sir Walter Wigham, the A4 pulling a nice array of Pullmans. Now you can see there's a couple of different coloured roofs there. I can't remember what the significance is. I'll need to look it up, and probably should have looked it up before I came on. Boxcar Jerry, good morning. So I'm guessing, Jerry, that you're either in the States or you're here in Canada somewhere. Just a guess. Oh, well, thanks, Digger and Jerry. Welcome. You know, this is your first time here, and you know, I hope you like what you see. You know, I run Hornby, TRIANG, Lima, Bachmann 00, and the layout is about 10 by 9, and it's extremely loosely based on where I lived in Glasgow. I lived in an area called Partickhill, and it's on the north side of the River Clyde, and there's a line that runs actually all the way from Edinburgh through the centre of Glasgow and along the north side of the river all the way out to Helensburgh and beyond. And I can remember, you know, we lived in a tenement building in Partick, and at that time it was all steam trains, and you know, we were on and off the trains going down to the seaside, as they would call it, on a day trip. And then they decided to demolish the tenements in that area, so we were moved out to a place called Knightswood in the northwest side of the city, and that same line would pass through Knightswood. And I can remember in the 60s that line was electrified, and you know, we would see them installing the wires and the gantries and all of that, and the first little while there were numerous breakdowns, but they eventually got it solved, and the train was, we called it the Blue Train. It was a EMU, I don't know if it was a 107 or whatever it was, but I've never seen a model of it. Oh, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, the Coronation LMS, London, Midland and Scottish. It's a particularly nice set, and you know, it's been in the box for the longest time. I bring it out in rare occasions because I think that set would look particularly good on someone's layout that was big enough to let it steam down along straight and rush through the station. Here I have to be careful because I don't want it to derail. And you know, I spoke about this before, about the possibility that I might start selling off some of my collection, because I think, unlike everybody else, I've got too many, and you know, they sit in boxes for the most time. Clive, good morning. How is it in Ireland? Very hot in Belfast, yeah. Well, as I said earlier, this is typical weather for us here in Toronto, from June all the way through to August. You know, anywhere from 25 to 32, it may go to 40 tomorrow. And so, you know, I'm in the basement here, and the basement's nice and cool. When I finish this, I'll need to go out and water the plants in the garden. But yeah, I hope you're all being careful over there, because I know you're not used to having so much sunshine, and it can be very dangerous if you're not careful. I was over in Spain, and then I was in Las Vegas, and both places were 40 degrees, and a lot of Brits there, and they were like beetroots. They were burnt red. They don't put sunscreen on, and I'm sure they'll pay for it later. So yeah, getting back to my trains, you know, there'll come a point when I'll probably think seriously about selling these. And you know, I'll probably reduce it down as much as I can to you know, an LMS, an LNER, with rakes of coaches, a couple of goods, and then I don't know what else, but you know, I'd like them to go to a good home. So if anybody is interested, just let me know, and I'll think about it as time goes on. I'm just going to, for Jerry's benefit, I just want to have a look here. You know, I did a review of the TRIANG Hornby catalogue, and there's that ambulance coach. It's not in great condition, but it's unusual. I think I found it on eBay years ago. And here is another prized one. I made this up myself. It's a TRIANG car transporter, and I chopped it up and took an old Airfix Spitfire and chopped that up, and as you can see, I put some canvas over the cockpit just for effect. So that's good. And there's another nice TRIANG LMS, King George VI. That's an old one, and it still runs. And there's my BOC TRIANG 100-ton tanker. And my trusty track cleaner, the old TRIANG permanent way department. It's got the pad on the inside, and it does a great job. But you know, once again, I'll tell you about this one here. That's my Mr. Clean. Now, Jerry, you should be able to find this if you live here in North America. And for the others, you know, you'll find it on eBay in the UK, I think. But if you have any trouble finding it, just let me know and I'll send you one. No problem. You'll notice I've got a couple of interesting little pieces around the layout here. I'll just show you in a second. And that's the many little relay cabinets that I 3D printed. I also 3D printed the oil drums there, and here is my steel coil. It should be bigger, but I made this just as a demonstration to let you see how easy it would be to make that. Now, these unusual looking elements, most of you know, Jerry would be, good morning Mark, nice to see you. These are all from an old printer. So if you see an old printer lying at the side of the road, pick it up, because there's a myriad of things inside there that you can retrieve and modify. And here's an example of what I did. They're like generators, and I put a bit of chain on it, and it looks quite good. So, you know, there's many things you can do with bits and pieces. And, you know, I painted some of them up, I left some as they are, and you can always find a use for them. Hey Sparky, you're just down the road from me somewhere. I think you said you were 80 kilometres from George's Trains. I'm thinking that's maybe east of Oshawa, I don't know, maybe you can let me know. And here are the lead weights that I've started putting into some of the wagons and coaches to get them to run better. And it works. They're pretty cheap, you can get them at Sparky, you probably know this, Canadian Tire and other sort of automotive outlets. Now that's the, these are evergreen plastic models, right? Just cut them up, painted them, and strip steel plates, this tin foil, and I'm going to paint them, rust them up a bit. That's a simple make, and there's my coal centre. I scratch built that one using coffee sticks from Starbucks. So I always make a point of lifting them whenever I'm in for an expensive coffee. Yes, Facky. Yeah, go down there and get some. Now there is my my skip. A couple more over there that I 3D printed. I downloaded the file and I've got a filament printer and it did just a great job on it. Let's see if I can bring that up here for a second. Yeah, so there you go. It's painted up and yeah, bit of weathering. Just get it in a bit of light there. So I'm very happy with it for a filament printer. It worked out great. And here's a little, most of you have seen this, so excuse me for repeating, but this is for the benefit of Jerry. I made that oil station there, and I used a tube from packaging paper or something like that, weathered it up and then put on bits and pieces of different things I found lying around in my collection. And then I built the retaining wall, and it looks pretty effective there. And then I was experimenting here with some, yeah, thanks Digger. I'm experimenting here with some landscape. Move this stuff out of the area. So this is made of foam, and I carved it up. That's pink or blue foam. I carved it up and then painted it, and then the various woodland scenics, and then an old fence that came as part of a kit or something. I just weathered it up, so you get a nice little effect there, which will enable me to expand on that. So let's just move around here. So there are the various trees that I've made. Now Sparky, you'll have these plants in your garden somewhere. I can't remember the name of them, but they're a fairly large plant, and I did a bit of experimenting, and this is what I came up with. This one here is the latest. I used a filter material that I bought from the pet store. You can go in there and you'll find the filter for an aquarium. And just hang on a second. Yeah, there's the filter in question. So you get two of these. There's a plastic bracket thing for holding it on the side of the tank, and then inside you'll find this. Now there's charcoal inside there, so you have to open it up because it's like a bag. You open it up and then save the charcoal for use as coal, and then I washed out the bag itself, the material. Let's see if I can pull this over, give you a better look at it. So what I did was I teased it out and got this nice effect. So I was very happy with the outcome, and you know, I used acrylic paste, whatever it was, just to thicken up the trunk, and that worked out great. Just put it back. So here you see I was experimenting a little bit. Here is that's the raw plant right there. And if you went out and looked, you would see that in your garden now, Sparky and maybe Jerry. So there it is. And they're quite large. You can break them down into smaller trees and then build on it. And here you can see where I was doing a bit of experimentation, trying out what I could do with that material. Anyway, it's interesting. So moving on, I used wet and dry sandpaper for the road up there, and it's worked out quite well. That's the subway station that you see there. It's not finished yet. I'm trying to come up with a sign similar to my station sign that will say underground. And I'm not sure if I'm going to 3D print it like I did that, or I'll try and do it on my cricket machine. I'm not having much luck with that at the moment, but I'll continue to work away with it. Anyway, a variety of EFE buses and lorries up there on the road, and that material there on that wall is, you know, what you would find around Glasgow and the west of Scotland, and I'm trying to create a tunnel here, and then I'll build up more of a town scene up there. But I'll just show you this again. A scratch built this cement works blue circle out of cards and papers that I downloaded from Scale Scenes or whatever one it was, and I was very happy with that. I got the rusted and the painted ones and just mixed them up. Unfortunately, it's a big unit, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. You know, if I put it up here in the industrial area, that would require me to put some track up there, and I'm not sure if I want to do that, because you know, originally my plan was to have 2 tracks up here running all the way around. But when I started into this a couple of years ago, you know, I had so many things to do, and trying to get something running, I decided, no, I'm just going to pull it and go with as many tracks as I can get in comfortably here on the main table itself. As you can see, I don't have the track tied down properly, and I'm not sure just exactly what I'm going to do, because I want to have a complete third line in here. I've got an up and a down line that splits into, you know, there's 3 tracks in each direction up here, and that allows me to store a lot of trains, wagons, etc. So, the plan is not clear to me as yet how we're going to go. Let's just see what's happening. Oh, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I know what you mean, Sparky. I'm the same. You know, I put stuff up here, and you know, I can't see that well anymore. I wear glasses. Anyway, in the corner there, it's pretty rough, but you know, I'm just trying to create something in that corner with a tunnel, a bridge over the top, receding into the town in the background. And here's my tenement building that I still haven't finished. I mean, that's all I can say. I still haven't finished, and you can see the detail that I've got to. And that's the way it was in Glasgow in the 60s. My plan is to install these LED lights. I hope you can see that. Yeah. To install these LED lights for effect. I've got it started, but haven't got around to it completely. This concrete wall here, what I did for that, Jerry, was I took foam core and I peeled off the one cover, and then I painted it up, carved it out a little bit so that you could see some exposed reinforcement, and weathered it and added in some weeds, and I think that looks quite effective. So moving on, yeah, there's a little low profile building I made out of carved and foam core. It's very easy to do simple stuff, and it can be very effective, you know, looking back from a distance. Weather it up and you're good to go. I do have another line in here that comes around, pretty messy at the moment, and that's going to be an automatic reversing line. I now have the correct printed circuit board here, I just haven't installed it yet. Yeah, so just to continue, here's my bridge. I'm very proud of this. And the inspiration for this was Tony Northeastern, and I used to be a draftsman and then became a CAD guy, and then sort of systems, project delivery, coordination, all that kind of stuff. So I can draw anything, and I thought about it after seeing Tony's bridge, and I thought, well, I could do that. So I pulled out all my old tools, including a set of trammels, and laid it out on a piece of paper initially to see how it was going to look, and I got the concept, and then I took mat board. That's the material that you use for mounting paintings on, right? And I laid out the geometry for those girder spans, and then I went about cutting them out, and it's tough material to cut, so you really got to make sure that you've got sufficient numbers of blades to complete this. So I got the main span done, and then I had to put on the flanges, and once again same material, and then I had to glue it all together and build this girder end here, the main support beam, which would be anchored into the wall, the parapet. Now you see I've gone to great lengths to rust the painting, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. The difficult part was when I was doing the struts and the bracing. As you can see, if you look closely there, the braces are made up of two pieces of the mat material, the mat board. So to glue them together and then cut them so that they all fitted up properly at the right angles, that was tedious. And then I found that material there for the guardrail, that fencing. Now I think that's another item from Canadian Tire for repairing car bodies. And then I got some very fine pipes or tubes. I think that's wire that I put along as the handrails, and then paper paving stones and wet and dry sandpaper, and then that's your bridge. Now, as you can see, the bridge is warped a little bit because of all the gluing, and that's problematic. I did my best to minimise the warpage on there. And what I have to do is get some struts across here to finish it off. And I was recently at George's Trains, and I bought some additional evergreen plastic model steel sections that I'll use to tie all that together. So yeah, that was a great adventure, and I was very happy with that. So I'm too old to start that digger. I'd never make the end over to Fife. I've crossed that bridge so many times back in the 60s, 50s and 60s. As a child, we'd go to Kinghorn and Leven and places like that, St Andrews, and we'd always throw pennies out the coach. Hopefully there was no permanent way workers on the track at that time. There's another example, you can see that, of my 3D printing. Is that buffer stop there. It came out quite well. There's a rough one that I haven't finished off. You can see the grooves there. Hope you can see that there. Yeah, the grooves just slot onto the track and fix in place. And all you have to do is take them up. I'm going to try and find a spot for this. See if I can bring something else out. I'll let that one go, and let's see here. I'll stop that one there for a minute, and maybe try and bring it round. So let's see if I can. All my points are manual. Now, that could be challenging, but it is what it is at the moment. And so here's another pride and joy. A Black 5 pulling a rake of ScotRail's West Highland Railway cream and green coaches. Now that's a beautiful set. They are Lima Mark 1 coaches. I got wind of a guy who had made these and he was selling off his collection, and I was very fortunate to have been able to get them. I got them for a terrific price too. I've had these for maybe 10 years now. So that's the thing. I've got a nice variety of stuff here that I'm able to bring out every now and again. And this in particular, you might never have seen these anywhere else. Now, I've got a few Black 5s, some of them in a state of disrepair. I watch Barry Davis on a regular basis, in fact every morning, and I like what he's done in showing us the history of the black flag, the various types, and the issues and problems like this one, Isaac, whatever it was, that wrote that. Now I need a new tender frame for this one. And there's an example of what you can do with garbage. That's a little scrap wagon. There's no prizes for guessing what's in there, but just a little piece of foam with glue, and then I threw in all kinds of bits and pieces, and that's what you get. So, yeah, World Heritage Site, that's correct. Okay, so about cameras, I'm trying to upgrade my system. Presently, I have a Logitech Brio right here, and that's hooked up into my MacBook Pro. Now, with the MacBook Pro, you don't have enough outlets to attach stuff, so I had to buy this hub. And let me turn this down, please. So I had to buy this hub in order to do this. And what I'm holding here is an iPhone 11. And what I've done, in the past I would use other old iPhones. But in order to do that, like this one here, you have to invite the camera to the system via email or whatever. You all know how it works. But during the week, I purchased from Amazon an Elgato unit, which will allow me to select various cameras. So I'd like to get another couple of cameras, and so that they're stable and they're not dropping off, etc. And I think I can do that by using the Elgato, and hopefully I can figure it out in the coming week, and maybe by the next time I'm up and running, I would have that in place. Now, there's something else I wanted to show you. You might recall seeing this, and that is an Anderson shelter. Okay, there we go. In the UK during the Second World War, many people who had a garden built one of these, and they took refuge in there when the Luftwaffe came over to bomb the place. Now, as you can see, that's made of corrugated iron, and I purchased a little tool that enables you to shape the tinfoil into corrugations. And another example is that fence. Just wait until that goes by. So I found this in this, well, I found out about it. There's a store in Melbourne, Australia, that sells the tool. Unfortunately, it's HO scale, and I bought it anyway, and then broke it immediately after making these two items. The company have offered to replace it with a 00 scale if I pay for the shipping, and yeah, that's very fair, and I will do that. But you know, it's amazing what you can actually do. I was quite happy with the way this came out. So, talking about trees again, I mean, I don't know if you, I'm probably sure you all watch Boomer's dioramas. I mean, he is the top of the class when it comes to landscape and making trees. I learned so much just watching him. And this is an example of something I found on a beach. Always keep my eyes open for stuff like this, and you know, you can just imagine it sitting there somehow. Just use your imagination, but that was a great find. So now, you've probably seen this as well. I made this out of the grey card you can get. I'm not sure when you buy it now, but you could find it on the back of a foolscap paper, that type of material. And you know, I've made an opening in the bottom to put a light in, and you know, we've been up travelling in the Highlands years ago, and I came across this old church, and I was inspired. So I took a couple of photographs and thought, I should make a model of that. And you know, made up the roof and weathered it, and I painted the windows with acrylic. Might have made a better choice, maybe I've used watercolour, but very happy with the way it came out. And Digger, you will know what the material is. Digger, you will know what the material is I used for the walls, and that is that bird grit that you put in the bottom of your parrot cage. Somewhere around here I've got a box of it, and I just don't know where it is right now, but you know what I mean, Digger. So yeah, that worked out great. And then I made this, once again, simple construction as you can see, brick paper, bit of weathering, and there you got, you know, the station master's house if you want. And then there's that factory kit that turned out nice. And this little A4, it's a great runner. I've actually got 3 of these. Anybody interested? Same old story. Now, talking about repairs and the likes, I'm still working on repairing this. I can't get this to run. I'm not really sure why. It was running before. I'll probably need to strip it down again, but you'll notice here, there. You know, I think I'm missing a washer on there. I think that's part of the problem. I think I looked at the parts list, but I think there should be a brass copper washer on there, and that might solve the issue. And then the same with this one. See, it's got an insulating washer on there, but I think it requires a washer on top, and then there's that knurled screw on top of that with the retaining clip. So there are a couple of ongoing repairs that I need to do. Oh, and here's my 3D printed pressure tank. Very simple, but you know, I made the little model in 3D and then printed it, so I can into it like that. Just put this back here for a second. And we'll see what's happening in the chat. Yes, Sparky, you're correct in that. I guess in the UK, in the old days, they didn't have anything like styrene. Everything was paper and cardboard and plywood and balsa wood, etc. But once you cover it with papers, it doesn't really show up as anything different. But styrene certainly can make things an awful lot easier. Well, good afternoon, Newland. Sorry, I was talking and just chatting about what's going on here. I don't have any parcels to open, Clive. I'm always intrigued and have great expectations of what you're going to share with us next. You're part of my daily routine. I've actually, I'm just going to show the Sparky, and Jerry will probably like this. I've got a few North American locals there, and they all run. I've had them on the way out a couple of times, but they were sort of gifts from other people that I knew that said, "Oh, here, I found this, whatever, would you like it?" Yeah, of course, you know, I'll have a look at it, see what we run. So, Clive, what's happening over there? What are you up to today? Are you making a video? A toy and train fair. Oh, a toy and train fair. And are you going to unveil this in the morning? Or are you busy making a video? Yeah, it's as I said, I was at the Great British Train Show in April, May Now that was the first one they'd had, run by the Plate Layer Society, and that was the first one they'd had for over 2 years. So I took along a whole bunch of things in an effort to cull the herd, as they would say. And amongst that, may have told you, were 2 Bankman Harry Potter train sets. They're double O, and they're both sealed. I never opened them, bought them when they first came out 20 years ago, and they've never been out of the box. The box is sealed, and I thought I'd try and sell them. I was asking $150. I didn't get any takers, and I also had the Caledonian single 1, 2, 3, and I decided to sell it. I had thought about this for a long time. It was having trouble going through the points, you know, on my way out. And I thought maybe some collector would like this. So I think I put a price of $175 on it, and somebody bought it. But then Double Bill goes and does this maintenance rebuild on the same local, and I'm talking about the TRIANG one, not the Hornby one, but the TRIANG one. And Bill described all the issues that I had experienced. It would drop because it was front or rear loaded. It'd stick in the points, it would stutter, and you know, as many of you know, it has that sort of magnetization. You've got the magnets inside there. Well, he took them out, and he added a little bit of weight elsewhere, and he cleaned it up, and he got it running perfectly. And I thought, I wish I had seen that before I sold it, because I've got a rake of 4 or 5 of those nice coaches, the cream and red coaches. I put them away in a box, so I can't just pull them out at the moment. But those of you who've been here before are probably familiar with what I'm speaking about. Beautiful coaches, and, you know. So now I'm thinking, well, I should sell them. The problem with selling for me is, if you guys are interested, it has to be shipped overseas. Now, I'm appalled at the prices for shipping, posting on eBay, and I don't think they're realistic. I'm sure that if I were to package anything up and go to the post office and ship it, and if the buyer was agreeable, I would ship it by surface to reduce the cost. And I don't think it would be $40 or $50, that type of range that seems to be the norm. And I believe, and this is what I understand, is that there was a point when people were selling stuff on eBay, and then later the buyer would report that they never received the package. So the contract with eBay was that it would be resolved, money would be returned, etc., etc. They would cover that. But I think what was really happening was there were some unscrupulous types that were receiving the package and then saying, "Oh, I didn't receive it." And I think as a consequence, eBay have said, "You're going to sell this and ship it. You've got to have them buy the insurance," and that's what's caused the elevated cost. Oh, I see. So they take 10% on top of your postage. I see. Mm. And so, Clive, how does that work? You sell something to me, and you say, "Okay, Charlie, that will be £10 for postage." Now, where does eBay come into it? Do you have to go and get it weighed and priced at the post office, list it, and then eBay add 10% on top of that? That would be interesting to know. These are the fish vans. Now, I think they're Lima. They're very light. They need a little bit of weight. I bought them and then painted them white, so they look like a fish van. And in fact, somewhere I've got one that I've weathered. And here's the Lima, there's the Lima shunter. Now that originally came in blue, so I painted it and then weathered it up a bit. Cleaned it up, added a little bit of weight. Still got a couple of things to do. It runs fine. No problem. Let's see if I can change something up here. I think I'm going to give this one a bit of a roast. Actually, probably have to put it into the station because it's not long enough. The track's not long enough to keep it there. Alright, let's see what I can get out here. Yes, we have to collect taxes on the stuff we sell. Let's back up a bit. Oh, Jerry, that's a good idea. I remember when you go to Starbucks, pick up a supply of wooden stir sticks. They're excellent for all kinds of construction. And something else that I wanted to show you, if I can find it. What I really need to do around here is get organised. Now, this here is a straw. It's one of those paper straws that have been waxed, and they would make for great pipes, a nice pipe load. There's the styrene steel sections. They will go on the underside of the bridge, yet to be painted. Okay, let's see what I can do in terms of bringing stuff out. Okay, let's see how this works, if I can get it to work. Let's do something. Yeah, there we go. Just going to reverse that back. See if I can get. Okay. To do a bit of looking here. Yeah, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head at all times. Diesel usually performs quite well. It might just be that it's one of these that are not on the track right. Yeah, there you go. Oh, bad point there, what's going on? Well, that's the Hornby shunter. Now, I got that when I was a member of the Hornby Club. It might need a little bit of weight. It seems to be struggling around this one end. Not quite sure why that's happening. There's probably too much load on it. It could be something like, you know, another topic of discussion is not just wheels but couplings. I'll just take that tanker off and yeah, see, that made all the difference. The TRIANG ambulance, the problem I think with that one is the wheels. As you can see, they're pretty rusty. So as I was saying, the shunter, I got that from the Hornby Club. Bye Sparky, thanks for dropping by. See you next time. Yeah, taxis. A wee bit of a derailment there. Yeah, these things happen. So we were discussing, or about to discuss, couplings. And a number of people like Charlie at Chadwick, Barry Davis, and a few other luminaries have discussed at length the topic of couplings and wheels. And there seems to be there is an issue with the various type of running stock that you might have that doesn't always line up, and maybe different heights from the track contribute to poor running, or you know, carriages or wagons dropping off. Let's try and go back here and see. Maybe take some money they're owed straight from the sale now and send you what's left. Oh, I see. And where do you pay the tax? Yeah, I know we all have to pay tax, and yeah, tax on tax. There's no avoiding it. Well, Sparky's gone. Yeah, it's kind of a rabbit hole, trying to figure out what's the best way to sell stuff. Oh, now here I have a question for you out there, regarding modelling. Now, I have a foam cutter, and I use it with relative success. But the one thing that I do have trouble with is straight lines. Now, how many of you actually have a foam cutter? And for those who do you have a tabletop one, like a tabletop saw that you can put nice straight lines on? Because I'd like to be able to do that and build a couple of things using the pink or blue foam. So I'd be interested in your opinion on that topic. Here's another little item that I found at the dollar store. You get these packages of blocks for $1.50, and they make for nice little loads. You can paint them up, add additional pieces of balsa wood or styrene to make them look like boxes. But yeah, nice little thing to add to the railway. Oh yeah, Digger, that's a good idea. Maybe even a steel rule would be better with a clamp on it. Because I've been experimenting with it, but I have a problem with it, of course, as I mentioned. So maybe next time that I'm on, I'll put on some diesels or electric locomotives for a change. And it's 10:52. I'm just thinking, I've taken up a lot of your time. I hope you've enjoyed this, and it's been great chatting with you. And yeah, drop me a line. Did you see my TRIANG Hornby catalogue reviews? I've got another one at least to do, maybe one after that. Oh, and before you sign off, I just want you to see this. Up here I've got a collection. I'll bring them down and let you see. These are those locos that came with the magazine from W.H. Smith a number of years ago, and they are these static locos. I mean, they're fabulous, very lifelike. And I had a cousin subscribe to the offer for me, and then they brought them over when they visited last. I mean, terrific looking models. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with them. You might have seen these before. You might even have them. I don't know what kind of value they have now. But it started off. It was cheap offer of a couple of £2 for them to buy the magazine, and we got the model. And then 2 weeks later, a fortnight as they would say, you would get another one. See, southern, like I don't have, this is only southern local that I've got. You know, I don't run southern because I never saw them. You know, that's the only reason. There's Evening Star. And the last one up here is the Deltic King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry. So, you know, that's a whole other set of locomotives that are in the collection that don't get used. Now, if I had a larger layout, I might have them all sitting in a siding somewhere. But do any of you have, or did any of you subscribe to that offer and get it? Because they're beautiful. They look as good as any Hornby TRIANG out there. And you know, if they're sitting in the distance, you wouldn't know the difference. And I think I made a video a couple of years ago doing a comparison of, you know, that collection to the TRIANG or Hornby local. Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's true, Mark. Yeah, the metal non-safety ruler. Yeah, good idea. Anyway, lads, look, I'm going to sign off because it's been very enjoyable. Great chatting with you. I hope I didn't chat too much, and I'm really glad that you took the time to join in. Well, yeah, I've got a GoPro. That's another thing I've got. I need to get that up and running. So. Yeah, let me know what you'd like to see on the layout. If there's anything in particular type I might have, and we'll get it out there for the next one. And as I said, check out my catalogue reviews, and there's lots of other stuff there on my site. And you know, as I said, thanks very much for dropping by. I'll try and make this a more regular thing. I had a number of issues and challenges and problems with the setup, and I'm hoping to improve that. But cheers for now, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye from Partickhill Station. And when I get the Elgato up and running, you won't have to look at me as I'm changing screens. Anyway, have a great day. Goodbye to all. Stay safe and be careful with the sun.